How do we fix low self-worth after a breakup? Well, first I want to start by classifying that there are two kinds of breakups. The first are good breakups, and the second are bad breakups. Good breakups are those that we're glad they ended. They were toxic, not helpful for us in some fashion, and they're the ones that once that relationship is over, we just feel free. We feel liberated. We feel like we can actually enjoy and embrace life again. What I'm mostly going to be referring to in this video are the bad breakups. And the bad breakups are those relationships where you were in a loving, healthy, fulfilling partnership. Might not have been perfect, but there was a lot about it that was right. And for whatever reason, it ended. You had to move away. You realized you weren't going to be compatible in the long run. Maybe you were in love with them, but they weren't in love with you. And things ended, and you were wounded as a result of it. A lot of times what happens is when we were in that situation before, when we were still in the relationship, we had this thing that was giving us all of these positive attributes. It was something that we were applying a lot of our time and our energy towards. And in response, what we were getting was compassion, connection, fulfillment, love, all positive things. And a lot of the frequency that we were resonating at was higher because we were so embracing all of these positive traits. Well, what happens after that bad breakup is we lose that. And now there's this void. There's just this nothingness that used to be something that was wonderful. And not only have we lost all of those positive aspects, but we've also lost, here's this thing that I used to spend all of this time and all of this energy towards, and now I don't have that. And our vibrational frequency used to be up here, and we've slipped down to here because, quite frankly, we just got knocked on our ass emotionally, and our soul has been injured as a result of this. And so now we're on this lower level. And this is where it gets problematic. Because typically what happens when we're vibrating on this lower level, we have this soul injury, whether we're aware of it or not. It's going to be there. And we either have to make the conscious decision of what am I going to do to actively heal this hurt, or we will just subconsciously act out certain behaviors and activities in our spirit's attempt to cling on to some form of lifeline to fix itself. And it's something we're not aware of. It'll just do it on its own. What I mean by that is, let's say we're in this bad place emotionally after this recent breakup, and we're not making the conscious decision of how am I going to fix myself? How am I going to fix this hurt? We're at this lower frequency. We're going to gravitate to behaviors that normally would be beneath what our standards are, which is why after a breakup we have a tendency to, I'm going to go and party. I'm going to go and casually sleep with a bunch of people I normally wouldn't talk to. I'm going to sit on my couch and binge Netflix shows for a month. I'm going to eat a bunch of crappy food. I'm going to drink a bunch of alcohol. None of those are activities that are going to fix the problem. They're only going to make it worse. And we know that. And that's how we also know that those are all unconscious decisions, that we are not taking active responsibility for fixing our wound. Because no one would ever sit there and think, I've really been hurt by this breakup. I think the best thing to do would be a bunch of cocaine and casual sex. Like, of course not. The only reason you're even doing activities like that is because you're trying to escape to a more immediate gratification fantasy rather than facing the reality of the pain that you're currently undergoing. That's really what's going on. And if you aren't making the conscious effort to, how am I going to fix this problem, you will gravitate towards behaviors like that. We're going to take the easy way out. It's not your fault. This is just human nature. We're going to take the path of least resistance. We're going to do that immediate thing that's easy and that feels good in the moment, because all we're doing is we're just trying to get away from this pain. Our self-worth has been knocked down a couple pegs. We feel horrible, and I'm just trying to mask this in any way I possibly can. And a lot of times that means I'm going to do things that I wouldn't normally do, because they were normally beneath my standards. But my standards have been lowered because my vibrational frequency is lower. And it's lower because I've lost all of this good. I've got this void, and I'm trying to make sense of this chaos. So that's the first route of what happens after breakup is what we do is these unconscious things that we're not thinking about. The other option, and this is the far better option, is you make a conscious decision of how I'm going to fix this. You get clear on what am I going to do? What healthy behaviors do I want to start incorporating into myself? What, for better term, what plan can I start following? It doesn't have to be perfect. It never will be perfect. But good is way better than perfect. Something that I know is good for me. Something that I know is healthy for me, that I can begin and I can move forward on. So maybe it's I'm joining that gym and getting my diet in order, and I'm going to drop these 20 pounds that have always bothered me. Or maybe part of the reason why I was needy in a previous relationship was because my own social network is not where it needs to be. So I'm going to make a concerted effort to rekindle old friendships with some of my older friends and make an effort to make new friends and expand my own network. And that way I'm prepared for this next relationship. And when you get conscious about these things and you make a concerted effort on what decisions am I going to make to fix my wounds, you're fixing the patterns of your past. You're healing a lot of these traumas that would normally stay under the surface, and they're just going to repeat in the next relationship. So if after a breakup all we do is go do a bunch of drugs and party and then find someone new to just replace that last person we lost, we're not fixing anything. We're going to repeat the same cycles and patterns over and over again. We'll never fix the underlying root cause that is driving us to these end results.